Welcome back. Myself, Maven, Smiting Fatty, about to bring you. This is our first action with JusTus. We had Optic Nation play. I know we didn't have a lot of the big names early on, but now we have JusTus playing against the Brazilians.
The Brazilians. I wonder if they're actually from Brazil.
I got to think with the World Cup there, I don't know why you'd be flying to California for a Call of Duty event when you could be enjoying the World Cup, but...
Are we not going into caster mode?
Did they already hop into the game?
They hopped into it.
Oh.
We didn't get in caster mode. But it's all right, because we can do it old school, because we got blind fire here.
Yeah, we'll be able to switch it after this game. Yeah, I don't know. I thought you'd switch. Well, you couldn't switch it on before when we hopped into free-for-all. So, did they start it right after that one? That'll do it. It happens to Scott all the time when we cast it. Cast for UGC.
I haven't done this. This is my first time casting today, so I'm cold.
Oh, I never do it. Use the controller. That's I make Scott do that or make Revan do that. That's fine. We can switch it up after this game. But JusTus is the first. The first team we were doing that is one of the four that did not make it into the top 8 from the Season 2 league play, I believe, that we've done so far. JusTus, unfortunately, did not have the results they were looking for, so they do have to play through the open bracket.
Well, and I think they'll do good because online is totally different than the open brackets, and we're already seeing Sinful doing a good job. He's actually going to push for A, it looks like, or at least he's going to cause some havoc.
Yeah, no, that's when you have that CB control. It looks like they're working on a flip right now, but yeah, flooding through, basically through beer and through crates and putting a ton of pressure on can be huge. I mean, you don't even really need to work for the neutral, which, they tried to apply a little pressure there, but really just that forward momentum making it difficult for them to get out of the base and apply pressure to B is huge.
Well, now we're going to go ahead and get on with Doubt. He's going to get some shots fired on him, but it's all right because the rest of his teammates are there to control B, but they're losing C now, so he's going to have to rotate back.
Yeah, this is, I'll tell you what, it's tricky. With every time I've had to cast without the spectator mode, it really, really makes you appreciate the spectator. I think we were doing one of the 2Ks in Puckett for I think it was like the semifinal, and Puckett didn't get into broadcaster mode, and we were it was like a tri-cast that we were basically rambling through, because it makes it so mostly it's because the mini-map, having that giant map makes it a lot easier to follow the action.
That and the Oracle mode, I mean, you can see people coming, you know exactly what's going on, but Fatty's bad. Blame Fatty, hashtag it, put it on Twitter.
Hey, it's all right. First game of the day. But on with Sin, they do still have BC control. Haven't really developed much of a lead yet. Up 6 right now, almost halfway through the game. But so far, good job out of JusTus.
Well, and good job out of the Brazilians. I mean, they're not down by much. They're playing a big name team. So, it's hard to not say, oh, we're going to go into this and lose. But look at Drazzini getting that double kill with that Semtex. Great kill for him.
Well, that's what's nice, for a lot of these teams. I mean, how they're doing it differently. Some people kind of complained about how we now have this open and champs bracket. But what's nice for a lot of the amateur teams or up and comers, you don't have to fight through the Optics, the EGs, the MBs, these big teams anymore. There's a ton of talent in this open pool. Don't get me wrong, but you don't have to play a lot of the juggernauts anymore. That usually people end up, you're getting knocked out in the early rounds by a lot of those big teams.
Well, and then it's your chance to also get streamed on the Bravo stream. And that's exactly what these guys want, the exposure, all that jazz. And JusTus now, they're starting to get into a groove now. They're up by 19 points, if I can do math.
Yeah, no, they've really started to finally pull away a bit here. They've had good 2-cap control for the majority. Right now, they actually have C neutral. They had to retake their home cap, so no points coming in for the Brazilians for a little bit there. But, this is going to be tough. I mean, JusTus shouldn't have much trouble. Any team coming out of the Season 2 league shouldn't have much trouble to the later rounds.
No, yeah, and that's the point, I guess. They want to win. They want to do everything that they can. But, this Brazilian team doing a good job so far. They do have to come back. They're down by 30 points now. Yeah. What do they need to do?
Honestly, coming back with a minute left, still 2 caps, so it's going to end up being, another, 18 points or so. So, yeah, they're facing what could be around a 50-point deficit going into side 2. And you just don't really see teams come back from that kind of disadvantage in a map like Freight or Strike Zone. Every now and then you'll see it on Octane, some pretty big swings. But really, JusTus has been doing such a good job of putting pressure at their home cap, they really haven't been able to get any forward movement. The map control has been all JusTus since a minute in.
Yeah, JusTus just doing an excellent job. We'll switch over to the other team starting in the next round. We'll give them their fair share. But now it just seems JusTus has locked it down. They have all map control. You got Twiz just causing so much havoc here in the fire building. He's going to move upstairs. This is such a power point. Look at that, able to get a kill. Now they'll just be able to work, get all the kills. Pretty much the Brazilians don't have the chance.
Yeah, I mean, where Twiz is set up here is such a nightmare for them trying to come out of C. I mean, the big thing really is red control on this map, but they haven't been able to get any. They tried flooding 2 or 3 through red, just got shut down, and he's got this other side locked down. So basically, anytime they're taking 10 feet outside of their home cap, they're just starting to get destroyed a bit.
Well, there's 43 points. Blind fire in your final kill cam. Look at the shots, man. The skill from these guys, you can tell, they're great players.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate they're here in the bracket, but it's good because now they're just going to roll through. Hopefully they'll get into the next season.
Yeah, you got to think they'll want another shot at the next season, that's for sure. But we are hopping into side 2, and unfortunately not in broadcaster mode for this first game, but we'll get that switched on for the second. We're going to take a look at the Brazilian side here, and again, I'm not really familiar with the squad. I have no idea if they actually are Brazilian or just maybe a big fan of the country.
We can check their driver's license.
Yeah, right.
Stuff. We'll see if it's actually from Brazil. But if they were, they'd be watching soccer. Anyway,
I would think so. Well, that's the trouble I'm running into with Sunday. I think the U.S. plays at 3 o'clock, and we definitely aren't going to be done by 3. So I'm just going to hide.
You're going to hide?
I'll be hiding.
That's what all the Euros did too, because you mentioned soccer to Benson, and he's going to cry. I did it earlier. Tears came to his eyes.
Oh yeah, no, he was. I was actually watching the England game with him at Buffalo Wild Wings down in L.A. and he was not doing well. It was even worse that we were surrounded by pretty much all Uruguay fans. Everyone was erupting for them. There was us 3 rooting for England. But hopping back to the gameplay, it's a minute into side 2. The lead's a little over 50 right now. Still do a really good job for JusTus. They do have 2 cap control right now. Big kill by Catalyst. And again, you need to get that red control to get any, when you're spawn trap against the C, if you don't have red, it is so difficult to apply any pressure to B.
Well, an Element, he's going to push that way. I did spot a player go top red. He didn't see him. Looks like he came through there. Now Boss will move through the middle. And look at this. Every time we switch to a player on the Brazilians, they go down. JusTus is just totally outslaying them.
Well, yeah, this is basically what we had at the end of the first side. They just got set up in fire and just set up all across their buildings there basically when they're coming out of lumber, and it just makes it so difficult. I don't even know how Catalyst actually got wrapped around this position. He had to get by one player, and I think he's got one above him here, will push him, able to actually win that gun battle. So nice win there. Now you pulled up that. I wanted to look at the KDs, and the KDs kind of tell the story. Well, Twizzini's absolutely crushing.
Yeah, 30 bomb already, 30 and 6. That's 5 KD. I can do math.
Yeah,
a little bit.
No, but 30 and 6 when you have 3 minutes remaining in side 2 is pretty good.
Yeah, Boss just doesn't really know what to do. He's going to be trying to neutralize A. He needs to really get it. These guys got to get that 3 cap to even think about coming in, close. I don't even know if they can win at this point.
Well, it's tough, 2 will not exactly hang it, but Element, he's 14 and 16, he's hanging with him. Catalyst is about double negative, but when you have a guy 6 and 23 and 4 and 24, it's going to make it difficult to hang, especially with the team as talented as the guys on JusTus. And for those again not familiar with kind of how the format works, they're competing, for their separate prize pool. And then the big prize, though, to me, really is the top 4 spots for the Season 3 league. I mean, you got to think, especially, not so much for a JusTus, but let's say you're the Brazilians or another amateur team doesn't really have much recognition. When you're going to be playing on MLG.TV basically, 3-4 nights a week, and you're playing against EGs and Optics, the exposure is huge.
Oh, the exposure is really huge. They'll get lots of sponsors because of that, and get paid for streaming. A lot of these kids out here don't get paid, say an Optic does. Yeah. Well, I don't get paid like Optic does. So there's not very many people who get paid like Optic does.
Not many people in really any field that are making the Optics, making some of the money they are from streaming and YouTube. It's absolutely wild. But props to those guys because it's a really big grind to get to the point they are.
Ooh, Vertizyme able to get a kill. That was almost a turn on. I would almost qualify that for
almost.
A turn on.
So a half.
Yeah, half. There's a quarter turn. Quarter turn. Anyways, we saw 4 down a couple times for the Brazilians. They're just, getting outslayed, outplayed, and I think that's the positioning JusTus has on the map. You talked about red control. They've had it pretty much the whole time. They've had fire control. They've had control of the whole map.
Yeah, when JusTus, when you have basically you're only spawning at C and the other team is in all of your map, like that half of the side buildings, it makes it tricky. You're just running into firefights, the second you basically get off a spawn here. As you can see, Boss is just trying to get out of lumber right now, and there's players everywhere on their side.
Yeah, well, this is probably one of the only maps that you can actually full-on lock down the spawn.
Oh, yeah.
And that's what's exciting about this. And, we talked about earlier, you can't really get big comebacks, and that's because of this. Once you get JusTus, I mean, look at Twizzini, 41 kills now, 12 deaths. It's hard to play when you have somebody doing that.
Yeah, this is, I think, JusTus' first game. So this is a good, you almost, I hate to call it like a warm-up or a tune-up kind of for the matches they're going to be playing here later in the weekend. But, yeah, they're making this one look easy so far.
Yep, like slight is what the is
yeah,
that, is
slight,
that the
is that
word?
what the kids on Twitter
yeah,
use
is
these
that
days?
what you kids at home
Slight word?
say? I'm old. I'm like way older.
Oh,
than
yeah,
you,
no,
by
I
the
don't understand
way.
half the code red thing. Half a kill is
Code
tweets.
red?
I don't know.
What?
That's one of their
so
sayings
old.
now. Like, Fizzerp and Killer just always tweeting crazy stuff, and they're one of their 42 GB tournaments they do during the week.
Well, that's one up for JusTus, best of 3.
Yeah.
Everything's best of 3 here,
Yeah.
right?
Well, that's what's so scary about this actual open bracket is that it's best of 3s the whole way through. So you could really have, one of the things that kind of defines some of these better teams is, in a best fight, they're really good at adapting, changing what they're doing, getting better as the series goes on. But I'll tell you what, in the best of 3, you lose that first game, things get scary real quick. But we are going to hop to a Game 2 S&D. Just going to go to a quick commercial break. Stay tuned. We'll be back in just a couple.